Nlc-Tuc declared nationwide strike.
The presidency reacts to planned Nlc-Tuc strike, accuses labor leaders of ego tripping and blackmail.
Diabetes group to FG slam 20 naira per litre tax on soft drinks and others.
And the details, the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, and its Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, the TUC counterpart, have commenced an indefinite nationwide strike. The organized labor commenced the down toll despite an injunction by the National Industrial Court in Abuja restraining the NLC and the TUC alongside their affiliates from embarking on any industrial action. The strike is to protest the battering of the NLC President Joe Ajaero and others in Owerri, the Imo State capital, on November 1st, as well as the pending labor issues in the state. Besides the brutalization of the NLC president, other labor leaders, journalists, other grievances of the organized labor include outstanding salary arrears, unjust declaration of 11,000 workers as ghost employees, unsettled gratuities, non-compliance of 30,000 Naira Minimum Wage Act, and declaration of 10,000 pensioners as ghost retirees. The organized labor's decision to go ahead with the planned strike followed an extraordinary National Executive Council meeting today in Abuja. President of TUC, Festus Osifo, who spoke on behalf of the labor centers, said that the strike will remain until the government at all levels wake up to their responsibilities.
Meanwhile, the presidency has condemned the decision of the Nigeria Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress to initiate a nationwide strike, labeling the decision as an ego-tripping move and an act of unwarranted blackmail against the government. The special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, in a statement on last night, asserted that calling workers to a national strike over an individual issue violates a subsisting court order and amounts to an abuse of privilege by the labor leadership. Now, highlighting the government's commitment to investigate the assault on the NLC President Joe Ajaero, Onanuga emphasized that power at any level should not be wielded to settle personal scores, but rather used to promote collective progress and national interests.
All right. Yeah, joining us right now to discuss what is happening in Imo State is Ajibade Praise, our reporter in Imo. Ajibade, how are you this morning? What is happening in Imo at the moment? Is there compliance to the NLC and the TUC strike?
I would say in Imo State, as of today, the NLC strike is a kind of experiencing a yes and a no kind of reaction. Some workers are actually keen into it, especially the establishment that has to do with the federal establishment, the federal workers. The state workers too are equally keen into it, but they are divided kind of, because what we noticed before the elections in the state was that the state leadership of the NLC actually gave Governor Hope Uzodinma, and they came out categorically and said they are not going to be part of the strike. The chairman came then, spoke, and said they are not going to be part of the strike. They are going to be obeying the court order, restricting them from, embarking on strike. And then it appears, of course, it makes the whole thing divided kind of. Some workers are obeying the national leadership. Some in the state are equally obeying the state leadership, and as such, some are observing the strike and some are equally not observing it. But there's something I want us to look at here, which is the reason why it appears the whole thing is having a kind of national outlook. Imo State has been in blackout for over some weeks now since Joe Ajaero was attacked here. Talking about Governor Hope Uzodinma is more of a national figure kind of.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Can I go on?
Yes.
Okay, Governor Hope Uzodinma is the chairman of the All Progressive Congress Forum, Governors Forum. Governor Hope Uzodinma is the chairman of the Southeast Governors Forum. Governor Hope Uzodinma is is more like one of the closest allies when it comes to the presidency, when it comes to tinubu, because Uzodinma is one of the closest allies in the presidency when it comes to the litanies of governors we have in Nigeria. And as such, it makes him, it gives him a kind of a very national figure. And I think NLC is actually looking that direction. They are looking towards that direction, looking at federal government, look into this whole issue and see the possibility of actually bringing solutions to bear. You know, the governor was keen on his re-election, and as such, he never gave, in fact, any attention at all to the issue of NLC, whether blackout or no blackout. There was no attempt at all by the government to see whether he should find a way to resolve that issue, because it was focused on the election at that time. Now that the elections are over, we want to believe that maybe he will begin to look towards the direction on how to solve this whole problem.
So is it correct then to say that the state leadership of the NLC is and the TUC are not in agreement with what the national body of the union is doing?
The NLC chairman in the state is not in agreement with what the national body is doing. They are totally in support of Governor Hope. That I can say a full yes.
Okay, so then just perhaps let's go back a bit on this whole issue. What was the situation at the time that Joe Ajaero went to Imo State and decided that they were going to do some kind of demonstration? At that time, were they in consonance between the state body of the NLC and the national body? What exactly transpired that led to that manhandling of the labor leader? Was it, you know, in one breath we hear that he was rescued by the police. In another breath we hear that it was the police that arrested him and manhandled him. So what was it that really happened that day?
There's a whole lot of controversies surrounding that scenario on how Joe Ajaero was attacked. Okay, the news came that Joe Ajaero was coming into the state to lead the labor union and every other stakeholders who are labor union. As a matter of fact, some came from Abia, some came from Ebonyi. Various labor union leaders came from, the surrounding states, and they all converged in Imo. And the idea was they want to occupy Imo in form of a protest, against some of the ills they feel have been meted on workers in the state, some workers in the state. They've not been paid for several months. The allegations by the government is that these workers are actually ghost workers. They didn't come into the civil service system through the right means. The government earlier has done what they call verification, and some persons were captured and some persons were discarded. And these are workers who have been working in the state for many years, and now they are saying they are not going to be paid, and some of them have remained unpaid for many months now. That is what Joe Ajaero was coming to correct. The issue of non-payment of pensions to some pensioners and gratuity at both of you that has not been paid. Those were the things Joe Ajaero and the NLC leadership were clamoring that they were coming to come and correct. But however, upon the announcement that they were coming into the state to have these so-called protests, which the government was not really happy with, of course, the election was coming in, and the government were, the incumbent governor, including other politicians in the state, were looking towards a peaceful election. Then that information came that Joe Ajaero was coming to do a kind of a protest to occupy Imo. Then, of course, typical of government, the game that plays, they were able, I don't know how they were able to do that, but we saw the NLC leadership in the state coming to issue a press statement that they will obey the court order, because a day before that, we heard and we saw a court order coming up, restraining Joe Ajaero and the NLC leadership from conducting any protest in Imo State, embarking on any strike in Imo State. So the NLC leadership in the state later came up and said they are not going to be part of the protest, and they are going to obey the court order. Now, Joe Ajaero eventually entered the state.
Ajibade, so are you saying that as of today, we cannot put a finger on what exactly happened, whether he was actually brutalized by the police or he was attacked by hoodlums? Which of it is true?
Okay. Joe Ajero came into the state. He was brutalized. The fact is that Joe Ajero was brutalized. And this was how it happened. Because some of my colleagues, journalists who were there to cover the accident actually gave me a clear insight to what actually played out. Joe Ajero came into the state security personnel who actually escorted him for safety, to provide safety for the rally, provide safety for the protest to embark on. And part of it came with were both army personnel and police personnel as well. So another team came in from, I would say, in the state here. They came in, and these were more of a superior officers. Now, before these security agencies, before they came in, they had they placed the NLC secretariat where they were gathering to actually prepare and take off for the protest. Some hoodlums were actually around, some hoodlums and some supposed to the supporters of the state government who doesn't want such to happen in the state were actually standing around, though afar, making some threat comments as to this will not take place here, but they couldn't advance towards them because they were with some security personnel who were protecting them. However, a team of security personnel came from the state. And when those teams arrived, they asked the security that were with Joe Ajero to stand down, that they are coming to come and effect his arrest. So when they asked...
Hello?
All right, I
Okay,
think we lost Ajibade praise on that one. I mean, he was getting to the point because earlier the police conducting the investigation, or the security agencies are saying that they need more time because there are different stories to what happened. And just like you mentioned about Joe Ajero saying it was the security agents, others are saying no, it was some hoodlums that did that. So that has been a back and forth, and it's like people are scared of even saying exactly what happened because it will pinpoint the direction of when the real story comes.
Yes.
I mean, the truth will unfold.
Yes, we hope to get Ajibade praise back so that he can clarify, because I'm curious to really know what really happened. That's one. And then secondly, if the position or the move, the campaign that Joe Ajero and the leadership of the NLC at national body is making is anything to go by, we understand 10,000 pensioners have been declared as ghost workers. And you also have another 11,000 workers who have been declared as ghost employees, right? So if these are state workers, then where are these people? In such large number, we're talking about over 20,000 people, right? Where are they? And if they are under the state government, then they should be under the state labor union, isn't it? The state NLC union. So if the state NLC says it's not in agreement with the national body, then whose interest are they representing, really? If you may ask the question, whose interest are they representing? Are they representing the interest of these other workers? And if they are representing the interest of these other workers who have been declared ghost workers, then they should be in agreement with the national body of the NLC, isn't it? Which is the national body that is supposed to be the one to give the directive to the state on what to do.
So it seems there is no synchronization between the government and the NLC, and that's what people have been talking about these days, that it's like the government in general does not rate the NLC and the TUC anymore, and these are bodies that represent, the core Nigerians, people that need to be heard. So these people cannot just walk up to the government and say, I am not a ghost worker. Definitely, the NLC are the ones to represent them. So everything, I think this strike is like a stand for the NLC and the TUC to say, no, we cannot be pushed. And honestly, Ayuba, at this point, if the federal government does not, and the state government does not respect the NLC and the TUC, then what is the hope for the ordinary Nigerian?
At the end of the day, trade unions exist and they are recognized by the Constitution as to be pressure groups. They are interest groups. They are groups that protect the interests of workers in the country. So if by acknowledgement, the laws acknowledge these groups, you definitely know that if anything happens that is not in their interest, they will resist, they will protest. That's why they are unions. That's why they are, you know, pressure groups. That's what they are there for. So I don't think there's anybody that is expecting that, you know, certain things will go in a certain way that is not to the favor of the unions, and then they are not going to do anything. However, there are those who are also saying that, well, it appears that NLC and TUC has abused, you know, the privileges and the rights, you know, to represent workers in that regard. So saying things like, you know, they have consistently used these offices for personal gains and so on. I mean, if you quote the statement by the presidential advisor, yes, on information and strategy, he says that, well, this is ego tripping, you know, as far as is concerned. But he described this as a personal issue.
It could be a defense, you know, because we all know, I mean, one thing that for me I just say is Nigerians are not really supporting the NLC and the TUC as it used to. And that is also, you know, reducing their credibility in the eyes of the government. All right, we have Ajibade Praise back with us. Now, Ajibade, you were telling us exactly what happened, because that's the story that Nigerians want to hear. And you mentioned senior security agents, you know, joining in and making some kind of threats. So please go on with your story.
Yeah, like what I said, the security agencies in the state who appear to be superior officers to those that were protecting Joe Ajero came in and asked the security that came with Joe Ajero to stand down. And it was in that process where they actually, you know, left Joe Ajero, that Joe Ajero became vulnerable, and those who had been standing around, you know, issuing threats, supporters of the state government, as well as from other workers who are not in agreement with the protest he was coming to come and conduct in the state, you know, got the opportunity to, you know, attack him. And, you know, that went on, and of course, he was also rescued by the same security agencies who came around.
Members of NLC attacked their own president. Is that the case? And I'm curious, really. The NLC says that 10,000 pensioners have been declared.
I told you they were divided.
11,000
I told you they were divided. Some were
where are these people in their thousands? Where are they? About 21,000 now that we're talking about. Aren't they supposed to be part of the protest? And if these workers work for the state government, I mean, or is it a mixed bag? They should be working for the state government for the NLC to zoom in on Imo alone. So if they are working for the state government and the state chapter of the NLC doesn't think that it should also be part of this protest by the national body of the NLC, then whose interests are they serving? I mean, do you get a sense that perhaps the state body of the NLC is being compromised?
Ajibade, are you with us?
Looks like we've lost him again.
Yes, it looks like we've lost Ajibade Praise on that one. Well, you know, this matter is something that, you know, we need to dive into more and more. And honestly, I was really hoping to hear the answer to that question that you mentioned. But at the end of the day, here we know that we'll keep pushing until we get to the root of this matter on that one. But yes, I mean, basically, that is it. We'll have to wait to hear from the Labour, the NLC and the TUC, and also the federal government to see if they can come together. And, you know, the main importance is that it's all about Nigerians, not about these bodies. I mean, workers are suffering, so it's something that, of course, they need to look at.
Yeah.